There he is. Speaking of the devil when he walks in.
Jim, did you come last week on that report? You didn't get it? Okay,
Signed and sent.
It bounced back to me for some reason.
Forward?
I don't know why. But
Meaning the quarterly report?
yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason I came back and said undeliverable or something.
No, I received it back.
It should be the last one. Well, probably I put one more with the left way.
Is there anything back from FEMA?
No, which, it's been, by the end of the month we should. So usually no news is good news.
Yeah.
For the best. Yeah, we got 7 that we're going to do the next 2 years, so. He was running.
So it's kind of blurry.
My left.
Whoops, this was attached to it. No, because I was
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Sell advertising.
Been part of the contract previously. That's their charge for coming over. It is 9 o'clock.
You got that charge of ours.
Yep. It's a management fee.
Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock, so we'll begin. It's Tuesday, January 9th. We'll open up the meeting of the Cudahy County Board of Commission with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Commissioner Hatton, would you lead us this morning?
Yes.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. A couple of housekeeping things. If you have a cell phone, please silence it or turn it off if you do get a call. And you need to answer it, please step out in the rotunda and take the call so you don't disrupt whoever happens to be speaking at that time. This meeting is being live streamed, so if you do wish to approach the board, you will be streamed, just so you know that, just for your information. That being said,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
we have a motion to approve the agenda and a second by, who was that?
Van Duzen.
Van Duzen, motion by Hatton, second by Van Duzen. Any additions or corrections? The only addition I would have, is there anyone that will want to visit with the board during the open session so we can allow time or be aware of that, or we could squeeze them in ahead of time? Is there anyone in the audience today? I see none. The only thing that I would have is during the open, I would like to discuss possibly that safety manual or the safety report and how we're going to deal with that. No action would be taken on it, but just to open it up. If there's any department heads that would like to sit in during that time, I certainly would welcome that. That would be just an open discussion. That being said, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 3, the approval of the minutes.
Move to approve is emailed.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Gable. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 4, action to approve the sale of alcohol at the Extension Center for the Cudahy County Pro Pheasants event on February 16th, 2017. We don't, you're going to represent. All right. All right. You betcha.
We are, on the 16th, we're proposing to have our annual banquet. I think we've done this a number of years now. The banquet itself will be beginning about 5 o'clock and run till about 10 o'clock at night. It'll be catered by 2nd Street Station, and If this motion or action is approved, Second Street will then transfer a liquor license and will be responsible for the provision of alcohol. We serve 475 people, give or take, and so it's a big event. It's large enough that really about the only event that houses it is the extension building. So we would ask, consistent with what we've done before, that this request be approved, and I guess I'm here to answer any questions if there are any.
I'd make that motion to approve that.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Waterman. Any discussion?
I guess I have attended that event in the past, and it is very well run, and there has not been any sort of issues with us doing that in the past, so.
Remind us, how do you handle security, for underage consumption?
That's actually handled essentially by Second Street. It's their liquor license, so they're at risk. They card, and there are bans that are given. We initially ask when they come in and whether we provide a few free drinks and a few, like 3, and then also non-alcoholic. We ask them, but it's Second Street that actually does the monitoring for provision.
Thank you, Terry, for reminding.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a comment on that too. I've been to that event, and to my knowledge, we've never had any issues with that license at that facility, so I would support that motion.
Well, that's good, and we appreciate what you do for the birds.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I only saw one dead one on the highway this morning, so that's
We're
good.
trying.
That's good. That's good. We do have a motion and a second to approve, and we've done this in the past. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
Let's go to number 5 then. Annual report from the first district. Todd, introduce yourself so everyone will know who you are, and he has provided us a handout.
Do you have slides, Tom?
No, I just brought it in paper. Next time I do that.
Yeah, that's on.
Good morning. For the audience, my name is Todd Kays. I'm the Executive Director of the First District Association of Local Governments. And as it is in previous years, I like to come out at the beginning of the year to give a year-end review report of work activities that were conducted in the First District over the course of calendar year 2017. I'm going to be talking off of the handout that has the colored slides on that. For most of you sitting at this table, the story hasn't changed a whole lot, but for the public's consumption, I'd just like to do a brief overview of who the First District is. We are one of 6 regional planning and development districts located across the state of South Dakota. We have sister organizations in Sioux Falls, Yankton, Rapid City, Pierre, and Aberdeen. We aren't government, but we are creatures of government. We were created through executive order by Governor Frank Farrar back in 1971. We serve 11 counties and 76 communities in northeastern South Dakota, where we start up in Roberts, down to Moody, over to Minor, and back up to Clark. Our mission today is the same as it was when we were created in 1971. We are an organization that is there to provide technical services and support mechanisms to local units of government to promote community and economic development throughout the region. The next page, just a little bit about how we are governed. We have a 35-member governing body. Each county has 3 representatives that sit on that board, and then we have the chairman of the Flanders Santee Sioux and the Sister Wapanoyate tribes that are also members of that governing body. In Coddington County, Brenda Hanton is the county commissioner rep, and she also serves as the chairperson of our board. Glenn Vilhauer is the municipal rep, and previously Craig Atkins was the at-large rep. That currently is a vacant space. That at-large member is usually somebody that comes from economic development or a private business. In talking with Glenn Vilhauer, the municipal rep, we've made the decision to kind of hold that spot open until we find a new economic development coordinator for Watertown Development Corporation. As far as the governing body, they meet 3 or 4 times a year. Their general responsibility is to provide oversight to the organization, adopt a budget, adopt a work plan, hire the executive director, and provide general guidance to the organization. As far as how we are funded, and our fiscal year 2018, which starts in October, we follow the federal calendar. Approximately 23% of our operating revenues come in the form of dues. Every county and every municipality with a population over 100 pays dues into our organization, and we use those dues to leverage other state and federal grants. We also do specific state and federal contract work, which makes up about 28% of our operating revenue, and then a little under half comes in fee-for-service work. And we provide a large variety of services to our membership for fees, but those fees are less than what you would find if you were looking for the same work in the private sector. So through the power of a collective, we're able to keep costs down for our local units of government and our membership. As far as our staff, I have a very seasoned staff, except with the new person we just hired last month, Tom Nealon. But over 170 years, presently we have a working staff of 15 full-time and part-time individuals in our office. I'll be celebrating my 25th anniversary this May. Never thought that was going to happen in 1993, but we're still here. I've been the director here going on 10 years. As far as what we do, most of you are aware that we do a lot of applications, a lot of grant applications, a lot of loan applications for our membership for a wide variety of community and economic development projects. If those projects are funded, they're fortunate to be funded. We then in turn assist in the red tape management, all the I's dotted, T's crossed, because there really is no free money when it comes to state and federal dollars. We have a lot of requirements that go along with that. As far as planning and research, we do a wide variety of planning activities, everything from land use planning to strategic planning, community development planning, emergency response planning, hazardous materials planning. If it's got plan in the title, we've probably done one of those over the last 40-some odd years. We also do work in surveys. If our members is looking for information on any specific item, we will conduct that research. We also do work with our members in tax increment financing. Geographic information systems is a very important part of what we do. It's integral in every facet of our business. We have 3 part-time and 2 part-time people that work just in GIS and managing databases for our members. And then we're out there schlepping the state and federal programs along as we come across them. Next page. And I always say this every year, I think there's a lot of things that we do that's hard to measure value, so we always just come back to talk a little bit about how we've assisted our municipalities and counties in obtaining outside funding sources for their various projects. In 2017, we were able to help our members obtain about $6.9 million in grants and loans for a variety of different types of projects. And if you divide the annual dues into that grant number of $2.8 million, about $11, and then for every dollar's worth of dues was generated. Since 2008, when I became the director, we've helped our membership obtain about $56.9 million in outside funding sources in the areas of grants, which is about a little over $25 return for every dollar's worth of dues. So we think we do provide value when it comes to that aspect of our business. It's we don't have the money, we know where the money's at. We just act as the conduit between our members and those funding sources. In Cottington County, specifically in 2017, we were able to assist our members in Cottington County obtaining $229,800 in funding sources for various projects in the county. Since 2008, it's been a little over $10 million. We've been able to help our membership here in Cottington County. So about $4.66 return on $4.66 return on investment in 2017 monies, and $23.38 over the last 10 years. We also work, we have a sister organization in our office with the First District Development Company, and the FDDC works with the private sector in our service area. Paula and her staff assist individuals in trying to obtain financing for new and expanding businesses. We're a Small Business Administration 504 service center, loan service center. Besides, we also have a portfolio of loan programs that we have monies in, that we make direct loans to small businesses. And Cottington County last year, we did 4 deals in Cottington County where we lent out about $1.9 million towards 4 projects that had a total cost of about $5 million into those new businesses in Cottington County. So that's kind of just a quick overview of the district itself. The white page handout that I have is just more specific information. I'm not going to go through it line by line. but I will focus a little bit just on the Cottington County work activities. We do a lot of GIS work for Cottington County. We maintain the 911 database. We do E911 addressing. We maintain a state county address range, and a state county road centerline database from the state Department of Transportation and South Dakota One Call. We web host and maintain your county GIS website. We maintain the county's parcels data set, which is used by the assessor's office. Luke Muller is currently serving as the Cottington County zoning officer. We've had that relationship since 2004. Last year, Ted Hayter and Greg Mogg in our office worked with Jim Sutton, and we finished our pre-disaster mitigation plan. It's currently in the hands of FEMA, waiting for that to be approved. Once that's approved, in the event there's a disaster, we then become eligible for grant funding and for pre-disaster mitigation projects. We also developed the hazardous materials plan for Cottington County in 2016 as well. Both of those projects received grant dollars that we assisted in the grant applications for. We also, Greg Mock worked with Rick in putting together the South Dakota DOT Bridge and Highway Plan for Cottington County last year, something we've been doing since that program came into being. And currently we're working with the Sheriff's Department in developing a new address map for the sheriff so that they have a map that shows all the addresses of all the points in Cottington County, all the address points. And then there's a variety of other things that we've done in Florence and Grantsburg where we've been, they've had some water projects and sewer projects. We've been helping administer those dollars. In Watertown, this just recently, Watertown received a $168,000 grant and a $102,000 loan for their solid waste landfill project, and we helped with that aspect there. I should mention at the bottom of the page, we did receive some federal dollars to the district directly, of which Cottington County's share would have been about $6,400. That's just an economic development grant that helps pay for staff where we match dollars one-to-one, state to federal. And we also last year were fortunate to obtain about $500,000 to recapitalize one of our revolving loan funds in our office, and those dollars are being utilized in counties that experienced disasters last year. Cottington County was one of them. I just broke the total. I've divided it by 11. It's $45,000. But we could do a $500,000 deal in Cottington County if the deal was right. So again, we've enjoyed the work experience. I enjoy working at the district. Our staff enjoys the relationship that we've had with our members. We've appreciated your support over the years, and we look forward to another prosperous year for both entities. And if there's we're pretty much in tune with what's going on in Cottington County. It's home base for us. But if there's anything that I need to be made aware of, please feel free to contact, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keith. Questions?
One thing that you didn't mention, Todd, that you guys are a vital part of is the E911 addressing and database management, and that's important.
Yes, we've been managing the 911, MSAG and Trado, all the different names that have been over the years, but all the dispatching that comes out of the Watertown Police Department, every address that's assigned in the county, we assist in managing those databases, finding errors in the system so that when an emergency call comes out, we get the right people to the right places as expeditiously as possible.
On behalf of the board, I want to thank you, Todd, and First District for all of the services you have provided this board and Cottington County. We always lean on you whenever we run into situations, and you've always been there to help out. So we very much appreciate it, and keep up the good work.
We do appreciate it, and my mantra always says, all you have to do is ask. You know, we're busy all the time. We're never twiddling our thumbs, and so sometimes the queue is kind of full, but if there's something that you need, just all you have to do is ask, and we'll be there to support you.
Right. And I appreciate serving on that board and the relationship and the help that we get.
And we appreciate Brenda's attendance at those meetings as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Have a good year.
You too. We'll see you.
All right, let's go on to monthly reports. Cottington County Auditor. Cindy, you're up.
We are working on clearing out the 2017 year so we can start the 2018 business. Our software allows us to make a few minor entries so that we can move the 2017 business to a separate area, and we can work on that while we're working on the current year. Tax notices have been run and mailed out, and W-2s are being worked on today. We had to wait for some information from our insurance company. A couple of questions were, do we need to list the health insurance premiums that the county pays on each employee's W-2? And because we issue less than 250 W-2s, we do not need to report that on the employees' W-2s. Also working on year-end reports, and that's about it right now.
Any questions for Cindy? Anything? All right. Thank you, Cindy. Shauna, Director of Equalization. Good morning, Shauna.
Morning, Sean.
Morning, Shauna.
What's going on in your office?
We are basically, we are working on all of our, what we call year-end stuff. We're getting everything done and ready. We have to have assessment notices out prior to March 1st. So we're working on that. And then the auditor and treasurer so kindly sent out tax bills. And so we've had quite a few phone calls and stuff with that. And then I was kindly asked to speak at the Rotary Club this Thursday, so I get to go try that out.
Good, good. I'm sure that they'll be excited to hear from you.
Let's hope so.
It's a nice group. You'll be fine.
It is. I tried Googling them a little bit.
Sure.
I'm part of that, so.
Yeah, I saw that.
Any questions for Shauna? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shauna.
All right, number 7 then, action to approve the auditor's account with the treasurer and note the registered deeds fees, and those are in your packet. Cindy, share with us.
The auditor's account is a report of the cash and cash items as of the last day of December. You can see what we had on hand for cash. You can also see where our cash fund balances are between the general fund, special revenue fund, and trust and agency funds. Also where our certificates of deposit. We currently do not have anything. Everything is in our checking because that is where we are receiving the best interest rate. And then we also have the Register of Deeds fees collected in the month of December were $26,425.
Move to approve the auditor's account.
We have a motion from Commissioner Hatton, a second from Commissioner Van Duzen. Any questions, any comments? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Number 8, approval of claims for payment.
Total claims that are being paid are $664,198.08. Of that amount, $406,889.03 goes directly to the state of South Dakota for fees we have collected through motor vehicle sales and licensing. And then the county's portion of those claims is $257,309.05. I highlighted a few things that are a little bit out of the ordinary, only happen once a year. On the first page in the auditor's budget, I do provide packets to all of the townships so they can complete their annual reporting every year. Those amount to $511.22. There were not a lot of out of the ordinary bills this month. On page 7, in the Boys and Girls Club budget, there is our $10,000 capital campaign payment for 2018. On page 8, we're paying Geological Survey $9,374. Those are for the flood monitoring stations that we have an agreement to help with. Also on page 8, Economic Development, we are paying the Watertown Development Company $35,000. That's part of a pledge that was acted upon a number of years ago. That's our 2018 payment.
How many years we have left on that?
That's something I'd have to look up. I don't know for sure.
I remember when we did that, but I don't remember what it was.
I think it was a 5-year
Seems like that's
pledge,
right.
but I don't know which year we're in right now. So, anybody have any other questions?
Anything else? Any other questions? I entertain a motion to accept the auditor's report.
Cindy, just real quick, under Sheriff, line 257, Zerker Technologies for maintenance.
Yep. That is our annual fee for Zerker. You can see that in the, half of it comes from the sheriff's budget, half of it comes from the jail budget, which is on the following page at the very end.
And that would be the computer software that's used to track bookings.
Yes, so it's about a $27,000 annual cost. Close to $27,000.
Any other questions for Cindy? Motion?
So move.
We have motion by Van Dusen, second by Commissioner Gable. Any more discussion? Anything else? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Let's go on to number 9 then, and this is open and announcement of bids for courthouse preservation project. And Milo can explain just exactly what that is and what the dollars that come along with that are.
Okay, the courthouse preservation project is just as it's stated. That is for various items on the outside of the building, tuck pointing in damaged areas, cleaning off the pollution, the black marks you see around, resealing all of the windows around the exterior of the building, etc. With that said, here we go.
All right.
The first one I am opening is covered by a label.
I'll pull that off. That'll peel right off. You can get it off. Yep.
You have to stand. Might look better.
From Jones Caulking and Tuck Pointing of Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Milo, there's a stand if you want to use that.
Okay, we have this proposal from Jones Caulking and Tuck Pointing, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, submitted by Rob Rohde. Have a base bid, $167,150. Bid bond included for 20%.
Do you remember what it cost to build this place? 1928?
Yeah, 300.
About 167,000.
That was 350.
The second one I have is from Mid-Continental Restoration Company, Fort Scott, Kansas. Submitted by Mid-Continental Restoration Company,
Farther away.
Parkston, South Dakota, submitted by Travis Leichner. Base bid in the amount of $79,120. As outlined in the bid proposal, they have an alternate number 1 in the amount of $26,562. And I would have to, that is as outlined in the bid proposal, so I will have to do some reading on that one.
What was the alternate amount again, Milo? For that
26,562.
26.5.
Do have a bid bond enclosed in the amount of 20%, along with references and some product data sheets. Okay, the third and final bid I have here is from Carr Tuck Pointing. It's KAAR of Benton, Iowa. Now we have enclosed a statement of contractor's qualifications. We have a bid bond enclosed. Submitted by Shannon Parmeter.
Is that bid bond 20%, Milo?
That bid bond is 20%.
Pages.
A lot of pages.
Maybe it's free. Maybe it's free.
That's free. All right. I'm thinking that's probably not the case.
That's probably not.
It appears they have it split up into work areas.
It looks like they're pretty sufficient on their
Photos.
on their explanations and
Okay, well, I guess we will have to go. Work area number 1, 58,992. See what work area number 1. Okay, work area number 1 is power washing of the stone masonry, tuck pointing damaged mortar joints, installing flexible caulk around the perimeter of all windows, installing flexible caulk in all the coping, sill, and water table joints, caulk all construction joints, install flexible caulk in the staircase walls, and the vertical and horizontal stone to stone joints, the stone step to stone step joints, and stone deck joints. Install flexible caulk in the vertical stone masonry. Install flexible caulk in the joint between stone masonry and storm door at grade level. Okay, that's a pretty good explanation of work area number 1. Work area number 2, 5,178. And that is work area number 2 is the brick masonry on the back side of the parapet walls. For a total of $80,000. $84,170.
What was that first number you had? The 5,178?
$5,178
And was it 58,192?
and $58,992.
58,992.
Yeah, your total's
the
wrong.
total, there's missing something in the total that you mentioned was 84,000. I'll add it up quick here.
Total's still.
Oh, 64,170, I'm sorry. I've got it added.
I can't read my own writing.
If it's
Yes.
58,992 and 5178 is 64,170.
Yep.
Okay. That's
Okay,
the
at this point,
total bid base.
that is the bid presented. I would like the opportunity to go through these
Sure.
and make sure we have everything we want.
Would you like to report later this morning or next week?
I'll try to get back here this morning.
All right?
In the event that I
It's not
feel-
on the agenda to award a bid.
Not on the agenda?
Nope,
okay.
nope, it
next
was,
week.
We'll do it
it
next
was
week.
Then we'll do it next week.
I do have action on the 16th to award the bid.
Okay.
Yes.
Takes care of that question. Thank you, Milo.
Thank you.
Give you a little bit more time to look them over.
Yeah, look them over carefully.
Thanks, Milo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go on to number 10, action to authorize publication of notice to bidders for highway supplies and weed chemicals. So, Rick? Good morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
Yes, this is the notice to bidders for our annual supplies: concrete pipe, corrugated metal pipe, bridge lumber, diesel and ethanol, liquid asphalt, pea gravel, gravel crushing, asphalt patching material, and weed chemicals. And I have the bid letting date set for February 6th.
I'll make a motion to
We have a
authorize the
motion
publication.
by Van Duzen, a second by
I'll second.
Gable. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none?
In the past, have we received bids on ethanol?
Just 10%. I request 10%, 20%, 30% on up to E85, and we only get the bid on the E10. And you know, I requested bids at their pump for anything other than the E10. We run E10 in our tank, but I requested, you know, go to the
Pump
blender
price.
pump and get bids, and we just don't get them.
Any more discussion?
You have a copy of those
I do, yep.
on surplus used material. You want to do that at a later date?
Yeah, because it's not on the agenda, so
Okay, let's-
yeah, we'll do it on the 6th
Okay.
when we, or unless you want to do it at your monthly report next week.
Yeah, I can do it next week and get it done.
Okay, surplus highway supplies.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any more discussion? Anything else? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks,
see you next week.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on then to number 11, action to authorize the chair to sign the Title VI policy statement and publications, and that is included in your packet as well. And this is no different than in the past. We have done this.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second
We have a
that.
motion by Gable, second by Hatton. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Number 13, action to approve the 2018 payroll resolution.
Nope, 12.
LEPC.
Oops, I skipped 12. Let's go back to 12. Action to approve the LEPC membership roster for workers'
I'll make that motion.
compensation.
Actually, before you make a motion, I want, scratch those last few words. This is not for workers' compensation purposes. This is to satisfy the Department of Emergency Management State
Roster.
Office.
Yep.
I'll make that motion
Yeah.
to approve
We
the
have a motion by
roster.
Hatton, second by
I'll second it.
Waterman. Any discussion? And that is included in your packet as well. And if you're warm and alive in Watertown, you're probably on that list.
I'm not on the list.
You know, well, then you better get checked out. You have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor to keep it saying aye? Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, now let's go on to number 13. Number 13, action to approve the 2018 payroll resolution. And that is also included in your packet.
Make that motion that we approve that.
We have a motion by Hatton, second by Gable. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, so this is basically reflecting of the 1.5%.
This resolution was prepared adding 1.5% to each step from 2017.
So basically, so the public knows what we're seeing is a list of all the different
That's what it looks like,
salaries.
in addition to all of the public, everybody gets their salary
Cindy,
published
will
this
this be
week.
posted in the two papers?
Yes.
Two newspapers?
It has to be published, yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 14 is action to approve medical service agreement for inmates, and that is also in your packet. And we have contracted with Brown Clinic for, a few years now. And there was a question, Commissioner Waterman had a question earlier, and I think we answered it, but we have the two geniuses here, and that was in that contract. It said a non-face-to-face care management fee of $10 per month per prison based on the average monthly census, and that's what it is. We looked at last month's.
Yeah, that was in last year's contract also.
Yeah, and so it was 66, and so we paid just a flat fee of $666.
$660 for average daily population of 66 in December, so that varies from month to month, but it has been part of the contract for.
So if we had one, this is for a call-in, if we call it in, so if we had one, we'd be paying $650?
No.
No.
$10.
That's
$10.
Yeah, it's based on our average monthly inmate count, and it's $10 per head. So that's in addition to our inmates that are seen.
So you're using the count, the average from the previous year of the contract to determine.
Previous month.
The previous
month.
Oh, so they
It's monthly.
calculate every month, okay.
It's monthly,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this was
Okay.
part of their contract last year. I don't remember if it was the year before or not, or if this was something new last year.
We kind of do the same thing to determine the bed rate. I mean, except you're looking at the previous year. I think as, the average daily population to do that, so.
Good questions. Okay. Brad, Tom, share with us, how has the service been? Any comments?
On our end, it's been working great. Working with Brown Clinic, haven't had any issues. Looks like they're not changing the price from last year. They're going to work with us on the same price.
We work with mainly Dr. Knight and his team. He realizes the restrictions that we're under, so he's not going to order extravagant medications, procedures, anything like that. He understands that we're limited on what we can do for these folks, and we have a very good working relationship with them.
Good. How often are they here?
Once a week.
Once a week. Yeah.
But with that face-to-face management fee, we can call his team throughout the week if we have questions on inmate medications, or if the inmate's complaining about something, he might just make an adjustment rather than do an appointment.
I would make a motion that we approve this contract.
All right, we have a motion by Hatton. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Commissioner Gable. Any more questions? Any more discussion?
Just a comment is, this has been quite a benefit to the fact that we, a lot of times, saves having to take these inmates over to the clinic. So that's a great benefit for us to be able to do it in-house.
Yeah, it definitely cuts down a lot of our transports locally here to the hospital. Saves a lot of deputy time and jail staff time.
Yeah.
All right, any more discussion? Any other questions? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Number 15 also pertains to our two gentlemen here. Action to approve correctional officer sergeant job description and wage scale. Brad?
I think everybody should have a copy of the job description.
Take the mic. We'll grab that here. It's a little closer to you.
Yeah, it's in your packet.
I think everybody should have a copy of their job description and wage scale. We're looking at promoting from within, I should say, corrections sergeant. The reason we're doing that is everybody knows that the span of control for any supervisor is 3 to 7 employees. And right now, we just have Tom back there as the chief correctional officer. By adding this position, it'll help with the supervision of the jail. It'll help when Tom is out of the office. It'll just assist with the operations of the jail with everything that's happening back there. So this will help break down that span of control for Tom a little bit, so he's not having to do all the scheduling and do everything himself. Another set of eyes back there for supervision.
Make a motion to approve this job description and wage scale.
Is this, oh, sorry.
We have a motion. Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make it, I'll second it.
And a second by Gable. All right, now discussion.
Is this a position that's been budgeted for?
Yes, it is budgeted for 2018, and we're planning on using alcohol tax money for this position. That was from 2016, I think, is when we started getting that. So this is money that we'll be using from that alcohol tax that we get from the state.
Commissioner Gable, you had a question?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. So I know it's not specifically, I'm trying to state it in the description, but my hope is that maybe it would help some with the data management. I know that's been that's a major chunk of work, and it's mostly at Tom's level. So, and it's a very hard thing to get to because it's so.
In the future, yes, it'd be nice to be able to have someone that can start working on that. Initially, there's going to be some training and just building this position. So probably initially, probably not right away on the data, but in the future, yes.
Thanks for the clear answer. Okay.
Brad, Terry Satterley, our HR representative, have a chance to look at this contract?
I personally didn't send it to him. I don't know if Cindy got it to him or not.
No, I did not.
I don't see any issues with it. I read it over. And anybody wish to hold up until HR has a chance to look at it, or are we okay with it?
Have you had the state's attorney take a peek at it?
No, I haven't not had them look at this. This resembles the one that we have for the deputy sergeant.
Sure.
So it's real close to that. Of course, there's some difference in duties just because of the correctional officer setting versus the deputy setting. But
If we delay this for a week, is this going to create a hardship?
no,
Well, we could modify the motion to have the HR person and the state's attorney review it, just say pending review, and then that way you don't have to come back to us.
Right.
Would you agree?
I'd be fine with that pending review of
Okay.
HR and state.
So what will the motion read now?
Pending the review of the HR and state's attorney, then approval at that, if everything's okay.
All right. Is there any discussion on that?
Yeah, I just have a question, just for clarification purposes. Brad, this correction sergeant, that's going to be an internal promotion?
internal.
So are you adding another jailer to the staff, the existing staff?
For 2018, we did budget for another position back there. We're not asking to fill that position right now.
Okay.
We're asking right now to just be able to promote the correction sergeant.
Promote, okay.
Kind of get that going. Maybe in the future here this year, we'll can ask for that. So.
Okay.
This is simply just to create the job description and wage scale, though, and then after that's approved, then you'll go through that procedure.
All right, any more questions? Good questions. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
And who's going to be responsible for getting this to the state's attorney and to Mr. Satterley? Okay, thank you, Brad. Just so we don't get up and walk out of here and say, who's going to do what, right? All right, let's go to 16. Is action to approve Regional Railroad Authority resolution, election of members. And I sat on that. I've been the liaison from this group to that Railroad Authority for many years, and last year we finally had a meeting, or two meetings, and Commissioner Waterman replaced Elmer on that committee last year, so I currently serve as the chair of that Railroad Authority. It involves the city and First District, economic development people and the county. It's county and the city primarily. And I would continue, I have no problem with it, but Waterman?
I would make that a motion.
It's pretty intense, I'll tell you that.
Yes. There's no donuts and no coffee.
Yep.
So I need a motion to appoint 2 board members.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Who are you going to appoint?
You and Charlie.
Okay, you and Charlie.
I'll second that.
Myron and Charlie.
We have a motion and a second.
And actually, I'm sorry, what we are doing is approving the resolution appointing Myron and Charlie to the
Board.
position for 3-year term.
Thank you.
Motion and a second, we need to vote.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, let's go to number 17, action to approve weed board members and compensation rates for special meetings. Mr. Steve, we put this on hold from last week, and do you have your committee?
Yes, the 2 board members that were up or will renew their 3-year term. And also on this is the compensation for special.
Well, let's have a separate,
Okay,
let's have a
all right,
motion on the reappointing of John Conkey and Arlen Banky.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to do that right now.
I'll second that for these 2 guys.
Who's going to make the motion?
You gonna make
I thought
it?
you did.
Well, I can. I'll make the motion, and Waterman second it. Any discussion? And that's for an additional 3-year term. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign, and that directory is in your packet. So those 2, in addition, Jim Teen, Brett Hendricks, Chris Copland, and Jay Delang are the board. All right, let's go to the second part then, the extra compensation.
I would propose to turn around and have compensation for like an all-day event. It'd be primarily the district or the weed conference meetings, which is usually an all-day event. I know it has for special events, but a special event could occur only like a couple hours. That would be still on the regular meeting rate set. And what I would propose for an all-day deal would be $100
Per day.
per day.
So if we have a 2-day event, Steve, that would be $200 then?
Right, correct. That would be like the conference. Conference is usually a 2-day event.
What is it now?
Currently, right now, it's $35 just for a meeting, is what it is currently at,
Regardless of length.
regardless of length.
Yeah.
So for an 8-hour day, that comes to $12.50 per hour,
Yeah.
which is under the minimum wage currently, but it's a place, yeah.
It's a place.
It's a compensation,
Yeah, compensates.
It's not like we're paying an extravagant amount per hour.
Right.
I'll make that motion then.
All right, we have a motion by Hanton, a second by Waterman. Any discussion? And the only discussion that I would ask is that, Steve, you would make that decision whether it be a full day or a part day.
Correct. Yep.
So
I would make that decision.
leave that in your hands?
Yep. And like I said, it'd be primarily it'd be the district or the district meeting or the conference.
Since this came up after your budget process, you have
Yeah,
monies
I'll have
available to
monies
support
available
it.
to support that, yes.
Okay.
All right, any more discussion?
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Gable.
so do we need to say that it's a particular number of hours, like, over
But we did
half a
say a
day?
day-long event.
Just day long.
So that would be 8 hours or
That's
more.
why-
8 hours or more, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's like 7 hours, I mean, it'd be nice to still take care of it. So, that's kind of my concern, so.
Well, if we say an all-day event, if we get more specific, then you're going to probably run into more issues and leave it to Steve's discretion.
Right, and most of the time, it's the way like an all-day event. The district meeting usually Well, when you're not here, so usually you leave by 7, you won't get back till 5, the meeting usually.
No, I know how it usually is, I'm just wondering if,
Okay, so motion, day-long events at the discretion of the weed supervisor. Okay.
All right, any more discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. The
Thank you.
boys are going to get a raise. Number 18, action to approve cell phone stipends.
We
And-
took action on this last week, but I missed one employee. I missed the welfare director, who is also paid $25 per month. So I just need a motion to include her.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Number 19, action to approve automatic budget supplements. Do we have any this month?
Nothing today.
And let's go on to number 20, action to approve personnel changes in your packet. I did think I saw one.
One personnel change. This is an appointment, promotion of a part-time deputy to a full-time position to replace the deputy sheriff who resigned in November or December, Dave Curtis. This is to fill Dave.
I'll make that motion to approve him.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Gable. Any discussion?
And the deputy sheriff's name is Tyler Varnes.
Yep, and that is in your packet. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Cindy, do you know if they're planning on re-advertising that part-time position?
I don't know if they do, if they re-advertise that or if they take from a pool of applicants that they've had, but they will probably keep that pool in place with a number of part-timers who are not qualified for benefits. So
I think if they do it within a certain amount of time, I don't think they're required to re-advertise.
it depends on how slim those applications have gotten.
But that position's going to continue to exist?
Yeah, I would say so, yep.
Okay.
Number 21, action to approve travel requests. We do have one from Ginny, and I'm not going to try her last name.
Ginny Oschendorf, and I also sent you one yesterday. I emailed you one from Milo Ford. Jeannie is the secretary in the community health office. She is traveling to a WIC IT training. She will go by, method of transportation is the state car. The expense for this is $11 for her meal for that day. And then our facility manager, Milo Ford, will attend the recertification course, and I believe that has to do with the West Nile equipment that we use. And it's also, I think it's the course that Steve Molengraf is also attending.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Hatton, second by Waterman. Any discussion?
So, Mr. Chairman, where's the Milo's trip? I don't have
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls, okay.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Anything else? Any other discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Old business, any mature, you heard what I said? Any mature business, any old business?
I don't know, Lee, do we want to discuss, we did have a meeting with the city folks last week.
Yeah, we can just mention, I think we had an initial discussion with two members of the city council, Bruce Bueller and Mike Danforth, just about the idea of other ways in which the county and the city can cooperate on infrastructure, on buildings.
And now the ball is basically kind of in their court. They need to go back now and do an assessment of their needs, and then we are going to meet again at the end of the month and see where they come out. And
yeah, so the general, it's still very, very loose, so the direction of the meeting could be anything from possibly finding ways to share a building to just simply understanding where a city, where a city building might go and where a county building might go. Looking down into the future as we try to figure out where to put stuff, and can we achieve operational effectiveness by doing that? Make it more convenient for the public, but also cheaper to operate by maybe sharing some things, be it just general space, or possibly pieces of the building. But anyway, that's kind of the idea, and it's very loose at this point.
yeah, we have a lot of discussions to go yet.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Any other old business? Anything else? What about new business? Any new business to bring before the board this morning?
Just an FYI, we are closed next Monday per our policy. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I have sent notices out to the press and other departments, so.
Is that Martin Luther King Day in South Dakota now, or is it?
As far as I know, that's still what we're calling it. I guess I'm not sure.
I was just confused, that's all.
Yeah, yep, I believe that's what it's still being called.
Native American Day?
That's
Reconciliation Day, is that what Columbus Day is now in South Dakota?
Maybe we'll rename it as a Charlie Waterman Confused Day.
I think that would be all citizen confusion day.
But I understand what you're saying. I don't know what it is. Whatever.
It is a federal holiday that the state, the
We're
bank,
closed next Monday.
the state and the banks do observe. The county has also included it in our policy.
Any other new business?
Just, I guess this is also FYI. The city is going to be, remember we approved the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative memorandum of understanding. We're in the process of getting signatures for the city's signature for the mayor and the police chief. That's going to be before the city council on
The 16th.
The 16th, yeah. So that's an FYI.
Okay. How about the open? What do we have for the open? I know we have a planning and zoning board meeting next Monday. Is that right?
No,
When is that?
next Tuesday, Monday, where it's closed,
Oh, yeah, that's right. All these vacation days.
So what time of day is that?
noon,
On Tuesday noon.
because it will be after our commissioner
Right.
meetings, so.
Okay.
Anything else?
We have the Stepping Up
That's
meeting.
Friday.
Friday
That's
from noon to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's at the police
That there
station.
could be a quorum. Are we on new or open?
I think we're on.
We're on open, okay. Also, Lee and I will be meeting this afternoon with Reed Holeen in just a kind of a brainstorming. Also with Bruce Hedstead was up here working on some sort of a housing, I don't know what they're gonna call it at this point, I don't want to name it, but trying to help folks in the community that don't have.
Transitional housing, was it?
I don't know if it'd be really transitional. It's just,
somewhat
if they don't have anywhere else to go,
It's kind of halfway house is kind of the thought, but a jail. I think a jail focused one, not a prison focused one. So I think that's kind of the general
it's just
idea.
in the initial phases, but hopefully it will be an opportunity for folks who don't have anywhere else to go that are maybe going through drug court or something like that to give
And
them a
that's
safe place to go.
The same presentation that him and Dr. Lawrence were up giving that day.
Yep, so this is another step. He wants to meet with us to brainstorm on a few things that they have questions about.
Reed's kind of helping out with that discussion.
So.
And then government affairs tomorrow morning, and then.
Who's going to attend that?
I can go.
I will.
I can go to that one. So.
Well, we don't need the whole board there, so I won't. I'll stay home then.
And then, Mr. Chairman, so we have the next CCJC meeting, just to keep it on the calendar, is February 13th. The architect, however, is going to be doing some work meetings to talk with the judges and clerk of courts to try to finalize his design documents. Originally, that was scheduled for the 17th of this month. That date might slide a little bit because he might have a conflict. So I just got an email on that. So I'll let you know. But it's not going to be. It's still at the earliest. It'd be next week sometime. So. Anyway.
Okay. Anything else? The one thing that I mentioned at the outset of the meeting was we had that report from the safety inspection, or in reference to the safety inspection, and some of the recommendations that followed, and that was quite lengthy, really, and several recommendations that we might consider. I did follow up with an email and made a suggestion or just a thought. I just sent it out to see if anybody had any thought in reference to, is it time that we start to, or come to a point where we designate a safety some individual in the county that becomes our safety director, or do we need to create a new position for a safety director, or do our department heads, I wish that they were here.
It's a recommendation of the insurance company that we appoint a safety official.
Yeah, and
I don't know that we would need to create a new one. If we could talk to our department heads and see if one of them would want to take on that responsibility, I guess, and go that route first.
Well, the highway department and...
Well, it does say it is recommended that there is a written job description be developed for your loss control safety coordinator.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, I
mean,
can
we could-
understand the highway department, oh, I'm sorry, Brenda. But the different departments in here, like, you know, your department, Cindy, safety manual for that department?
I don't think we need one for each department. I
The
think we
county
need-
has one, do they not?
Not a safety
Not a
manual that I'm
safety
aware
manual.
of. We have a personnel policy and procedures manual that if you look through that, there's something in there that,
So that's something that's
That's
going to
county
need to be
employees.
After
developed.
seeing some HR manuals, they're that thick.
I think there's something in the
and never
personnel
ending.
policy that recommends employees follow safety procedures, but whether or not that would satisfy the insurance company as a safety manual, I don't know. They did give us the Brown County Safety Manual to look at, which we could probably tweak for our own.
Yeah.
I just meant, I mean, yes, we'll probably have to, but try to do it within, if one of them would agree, they're more familiar with everything and
I don't think we need to create a new position.
No, I don't think you need to, no.
just
Department heads can oversee the,
get
Someone
together
done.
and get
We
a
need
safety
to,
manual.
we really, according to their recommendation, though, we need to actually officially appoint someone, though.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
As a
From
safety
within.
coordinator.
Right.
With
could that be
a job
included
description.
could that be included into an existing job description for a department head, Cindy?
Well, they could, but does that mean that we have some department heads that don't have enough to do?
No,
Yeah.
no, that's not
You understand what I'm saying?
that's not what I'm saying. I
don't
don't,
get it all, but Milo's...
I don't think that-
Milo's-
We could be on overload then.
I've just seen Milo over here. Milo's safety description for his department would be completely different than Steve's with the weed board.
And I think Milo and Rick, I think their departments have safety.
Safety Benefits does have a model available, if we'd like to see it. It was part of that that's part of the administrative procedures that I had sent out to you.
There was quite a number of things.
Oh,
that-
here, I will pass these out. You can each take one. These are the things that I had sent out that concern administrative. I believe Terry Satterley has taken care of the sexual harassment policy training. You know, he provided a training annually.
there are high-risk policies that should be enforced, overseen. updated every year.
But we need to have some document that shows that this was actually done and when it was
Well,
done.
some of these things can be incorporated into our personnel and procedures manual, I think, like, example, it is recommended the names of applicants for positions dealing directly with the public, which would be every office, in my opinion, be checked against the sex offender registration files for your entity. We could incorporate that into our personnel policy and procedures.
We just document how we...
A04, recommended a written policy be adopted that prohibits making or taking cell phone calls or texting. That's something else that could be incorporated into the personnel policies. There are a number of them that could be just incorporated. I don't know if you want to appoint Terry Satterley to take care of this stuff.
When does this need to be done?
March 1st, I thought.
Don't remember. I mean, well, they want it back with either a completion date or a target date. A target date will cover a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because when Terry gets back, I would say maybe start with him.
I mean, I can send this to him, and
I think a lot of this looks like it would fall under HR.
it does, but you as administrative board is
Yeah, right.
responsible for assigning that task to the HR.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, I'd say send it to Terry, get his input, and see what he thinks, and then we can kind of go
Some
from
of these
there.
things to me are kind of nitpicky myself.
Yeah, I thought too, they're getting really,
Okay, so let's,
Yeah, I mean, it is recommended that safety be included as part of your employee evaluation process. It is important to recognize those who follow safe work practices and encourage those who do not to start following them. That's part of our personnel and policy.
Is that not included on an employee evaluation form for the county?
I think it is. I think it is, which, yeah.
So this is from our workman's comp insurance?
It is recommended that all job descriptions be updated on an annual basis. I don't think that all of our job descriptions need to be updated on an annual basis.
you're doing the same.
They may be reviewed on an annual basis and signed off on, but I don't know that they need to be updated.
Right.
Well, taking a look at
My office
what
staff,
you do and
what Milo does, right.
might be Shauna's department, they get out and about a little bit more. They're out in the, doing this and that, so theirs might be a little bit different than,
Right.
say, the Register of Deeds. or
You
the
know,
Fire
like A1, Cindy, it's recommended that your entity's sexual harassment policy be reviewed with employees on an annual basis. That could be something that a department head could
It could do,
review.
or it could be
And-
that we bring somebody in and give a presentation
Sure.
to employees.
Sure.
And I think we do have a sign-off list of the last one of those that we had. So,
So some of these can be
Yeah.
done pretty
Because,
quickly.
yeah, when you do your evaluations, that's just something you could,
yes.
but we need somebody that's going to be responsible to do it.
well, we can start with Terry and get his input, I think, and see what he thinks.
Well, should we go that route then? Did Terry get this email that you sent
I
out?
don't remember if I sent that to
Sure.
him or not. I will have to look at my
Maybe if you could make a
history.
contact with Terry and get his take on it and say that we're kind of leaning on him.
Going back to the idea of a safety coordinator, though, I mean, that's a pretty typical thing. You probably like the police department, too.
Yeah, but I just don't know that a 40-hour full-time
No,
safety
this-
coordinator for the
this would be
county
a
is
person-
necessary.
Yeah, I agree with you, but this is the person to go through and just say, okay, do you have your safety policies in place?
Right.
Just kind of
Yeah.
make sure that each department is following the
Because it'd be, I
process.
And I
It's
think
not-
that-
It's not a hard thing, it's just a periodical review
was
thing.
going to say, like an
Safety.
annual type of thing.
Ultimately, I think that should fall on HR.
The employee
to make
review
sure
that
that
we are
that's being
currently
done.
using has
Where's
a
the
safety
place to start?
section. Has a safety section, observe safety procedures, use equipment and materials property. That is part of our employee review that we currently have.
And we need someone to sign off to the insurance carrier to say that we have done these things.
And that would be HR.
Someone to handle the paperwork.
Yep.
And if that's the HR person, if that's what we think, then that's what we need to.
I would recommend that we start with Milo on that, or not
Terry.
Milo,
Terry?
Yeah.
All right.
We send this down to Terry, it'll let him know that we're thinking of him.
And then if we
thinking of
need
him,
to
yeah.
give a targeted,
While he's in, was it Arizona?
a targeted date, I guess we can just say,
2018.
yeah,
I mean,
that we're
Yeah.
working on it. till-
Yes.
yeah.
All right, well, that's all I really wanted to throw that out because I guess I was
did anybody
impressed.
read through that safety manual of Brown County?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I was impressed with all the work that they've done. They've got the only thing I could see with that would be a little bit cumbersome, they've got a lot of people involved in that thing. I mean, they've got all the department heads, they've got commissioners, they've got a lot of input, which is, and I'm used to, the companies that I've worked with in the past, they have one designated person that is, like you go out here to the ethanol plant. Out in the ethanol plant, of course, that's a manufacturing plant. They have a safety coordinator, safety director, and the thing about that is when that safety director says, you will do this, then it becomes a must. They do it. You know, it's not like someone saying we should be doing this. You know, that the safety coordinator has a little bit more pull. All right, so let's go that direction then, see how that turns out. Can report back when we get information from Terry. Anything else for the open? Anything else? Seeing none then, I have no requests for executive session.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion by Hatton to adjourn, a second to that by Gable. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great week. Enjoy the day today and tomorrow, and hunker down for Wednesday night.